Hello, welcome to the Mythology Manifest. For today's video, I am going to be talking about a very powerful goddess from Norse mythology. She is the goddess of death and ruled over the Norse underworld, which was called Niflheim. Her name is Hel. I hope you enjoy it. So, Hel was the daughter of the trickster god Loki and the giantess whose name was Angerboda. If you've seen my video on Fenrir, the Great Wolf, you will know he had the same parents, so Hel was the sister of Fenrir and also of the giant sea serpent Jormungandr, who I will be doing a video on in the future. Hel was the only female child of Loki and Angerboda, but like Fenrir and Jormungandr, she was viewed as evil and feared by mortals and also some gods. Her name meant one that hides, and the reason she was viewed as evil and scary was because Hel was born with the bones on one half of her body fully exposed, and thus is often depicted as a half-black and half-white monster. She grew up with Fenrir and Jormungandr in Jotunheim, which was the land of the giants, until Odin, ruler of the Aesir, which is similar to the Greek pantheon, decided that she should live on Asgard with the other gods where her father came from. Unfortunately for Hel, her appearance went against her. In Asgard, the other Norse gods were uncomfortable with how Hel looked, and for this reason, Odin agreed to send her away. And to soften the blow, he gave her the world of Niflheim, or the Underworld, one of the 9 realms which I will be doing a video on soon. In Niflheim, she became Queen of the Dead. Hel had been quite happy in Asgard and had felt like she had a family and belonged, so when she was cast out, she was incredibly upset, which is understandable. And after this, she began to be feared by mortals on Midgard, or Earth as we know it, just because of her title and her realm. Just like Hades in Greek myth, she was wrongly feared and misunderstood, and in Niflheim, Hel was waited on by 2 servants named Ganglati and Ganglot. It is said that they moved so slowly that they appeared to be standing still, and they served her meals in a dish named Hunger and with a knife called Famine. It was believed that no one could ever hide anything from Hel, because she had an eye of fire, which meant that she could only see the truth. So anyone that tried to lie to her would be caught out and punished by the goddess, who after many years of being told she was evil, decided to live up to it. Very similar to Fenrir and Jormungandr. Hel is associated with a hellhound named Gama, who was like a smaller version of Fenrir. She was also associated with crows, and sometimes with the Hagalaz runestone, which is the letter H in the Nordic language of Futhark, which I will be doing a video on in the future. Hagalaz represents the weather, that is hail, and also disruption and change, wrath, nature, and wild power. And Hel was associated with a lot of those things as well. Although she was not responsible for the Ragnarok, or the end of the world in fire and water, it was believed that Hel would play a part in it. When Odin's son Baldur died because of a trick by Loki, his soul was sent to Niflheim. Hermod, who was another son of Odin, agreed to go to Hel to convince her to send Baldur home. Hel was not completely evil, and so she agreed, as Odin had once been kind to her, to allow Baldur to go back. But Loki played another trick to make it impossible for Baldur to return to the real world. When his trickery was revealed, it led to the end of the world in a great battle between good and evil known as the Ragnarok, and I will discuss the events of that battle and the end of the world in detail in a future video. In general, Hel is only mentioned in passing in Old Norse literature, and because of this, her character is not well defined and her personality has very little development. Some historians suggest that she's actually just a figment of the imagination of the Old Norse poets, and that the people in Germanic, Scandinavian, Nordic and Viking cultures did not actually believe in her. However, some did believe in her, and although the Vikings feared her mostly, many of the Gauls, Dutch and Germanic peoples were more sympathetic towards her, as I am. The places Holland, Helvetia and Helsinki, and also Holstein, are well-known places that were probably named after Hel, and she is also still mentioned in modern times. The Christian realm of Hell, where bad people go when they die, and the phrase go to Hell originates from the goddess, and sometimes Niflheim was known as Hell, after the goddess, like in Greek times when the Underworld was sometimes known as Hades after its ruler. Hel was also featured in modern culture recently as a character in the Marvel comic universe, where she's wrongly depicted as Thor and Loki's sister instead of niece and daughter, but she is seen as Fenrir and is correctly labelled as the goddess of death, so earlier wrong depictions can be forgiven. And that is all that is really known about the goddess of death and Queen of Hell. She is a mixture between Hades and Persephone, and she was feared wrongfully due to her power and her realm. Let me know down in the comments if you agree that Hel was misunderstood. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment or subscribe, or follow this channel's Twitter, which there is a link to in the description below. This video will be joining my Introduction to Norse Mythology, my video on Fenrir, Devourer of the Sun, and my video on Thor, the God of Thunder, in my Norse Mythology Manifest playlist, so feel free to check those out, as well as my Greek myths, my mini-myths, and my revision playlists. I will be going back to Greek mythology for my next video on the goddess of witchcraft Hecate, but I will be coming back to Norse legends soon. Let's keep classics alive. I will see you next time on the Mythology Manifest.